We're back. Time for another edition of the Carolina Insider. It is time to get you caught up on everything happening around Carolina athletics. Our recap is presented by Wells Fargo. I'm Jones Angell. That's Adam Lucas. Off we go. Adam, let's start with basketball. An inconsistent regular season came to an end as the Tar Heels unfortunately followed a script that we've seen a bunch this year, and that's a close game, and Tar Heels just unable to make the plays down the stretch against Duke, 62-57. The final score, Tar Heels 19-12 overall, 11-9 in conference play. They're heading to the ACC tournament as the 7 seed, getting things started Wednesday at 7 o'clock.
Tar Heels will play the winner of Boston College and Louisville, and depending on which bracketologist you believe, we know Jones is a professional bracketologist. Tar Heels got some work to do in Greensboro. Certainly if you win the ACC tournament, of course you get an automatic bid. The Tar Heels definitely need to win multiple games in order to be in the at-large discussion and then see what happens in some of the other conference tournaments. The safest play, win all 4 games, earn the automatic bid, but the Tar Heels would have to be more consistent offensively and defensively in order to do that against this field.
At the end of the regular season, of course, comes the individual awards as well. Tar Heels were honored throughout the ACC, including Armando Bacot, picking up first team all-conference. He averaged better than 16 points and nearly 11 rebounds per game. Leaky Black finished second for Defensive Player of the Year. He was on the all-defensive team. That Defensive Player of the Year went to Reese Beekman of Virginia. And Tar Heels starting backcourt, both honorable mention All-ACC. Caleb Love and RJ Davis both honored there. So again, it is Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Carolina will face the winner of Louisville and Boston College. Louisville, the 15 seed, BC, the 10. Those two teams playing on Tuesday afternoon. We'll be on there at 6 p.m. on Wednesday evening, again for a 7 o'clock tip in the second round. The winner goes on to see Virginia in the quarterfinals. From the men to the women, their ACC tournament journey ended in the quarterfinals. Another really low-scoring game against Duke, 44-40 the final score. Carolina just really struggled offensively. Both teams struggled offensively. Tar Heels struggled a little bit more, particularly in the fourth quarter. Good news, Adam, for the women's team. They're safely in the NCAA tournament. And in fact, they're right on the cusp of hosting in the women's tournament. The top 4 seeds in every bracket host the first and second round. Carolina heavily in that discussion.
Tar Heels seem to be in that 15 to 18 range, so it's all about how the committee weighs some of the various criteria and how they decide those hosting sites. Tar Heels won't find out the answer to that question until Sunday night. The selection show is at 8 p.m. Tar Heels actually having a watch party at Top of the Hill, our good friends there at Top of the Hill, so go out and watch with them. You'll find out at the same time Courtney Banghart and her team do whether or not they'll be hosting in those first 2 rounds. Either way, though, Tar Heels in the field, got a good chance, made some noise last year in the NCAA tournament on the road, so if they have to do that this year, they can, but if they're at home, want to see you out at Carmichael.
From a couple of seasons that are nearing conclusion to some that are really just getting going, let's start with baseball. The Tar Heels ranked in the top 15 nationally and coming off a really good week where they played 5 times and won all 5 games. That included a midweek sweep, a 2-game midweek sweep of VCU, then a 3-game weekend sweep of Stony Brook. Tar Heels now 9-3 overall. And Adam, several guys having big weeks offensively, including a transfer Jackson Vanderbrake, who in fact was named one of the Collegiate Baseball Players of the Week. He was 7 of 17, 4 home runs, 10 runs driven in this 5-game set.
Two homer games in that 5-game stretch as he's just been tearing it up. That's enabled Scott Forbes to juggle his lineup a little bit. You already knew you had Vance Honeycutt and Matt Horvath at the top, who are going to give you one of the most potent tops of the order of anybody in the ACC. Now Vanderbrake slid into that 3-hole and solidified that offense a little bit. So the offense has been incredibly successful. Now you've got to figure out the pitching. The starting pitching on Friday and Saturday has been great. Max Carlson on Friday struck out 21 in 18 2/3 innings pitched. Connor Bovair's thrown over 15 innings with an ERA under 2. Tar Heels trying to figure out that 3rd weekend starter and get everybody in the right spot in the bullpen. There's some talented arms there who have performed well. Just got to figure out exactly what their role is going to be, and they'll get the chance to do that in another 5-game week that includes a big conference series as well.
Yeah, another busy week starts today, Tuesday, 4 o'clock, Carolina hosting Western Carolina, then Penn State in Chapel Hill Wednesday at 4 p.m., then that weekend series that Adam alluded to, Virginia, who is also ranked in the top 20, undefeated right now. They're coming to Chapel Hill for a 3-game set this weekend. ACC still has divisions in baseball, so even though they're going away in football, still there in baseball. In Carolina and Virginia, 2 of the teams competing for that Coastal Division crown. That'll be a big one this weekend in Chapel Hill. Let's go to the lacrosse programs. Start with women's lacrosse. And Adam, what a dominant weekend for Jenny Levy and her team. They are #1 in the country, faced what everyone assumed would be a stern challenge, and understandably so. BC is very good. The Eagles ranked in the top 5 nationally, were the national runner-up, losing to the Tar Heels in the championship game last season. But whew, this one was all Tar Heels on Friday afternoon.
Yeah, it's really incredible what Jenny Levy's done with this team early in the season. The Tar Heels beat Boston College 16-5. And it really wasn't even as close as that score sounds. Tar Heels got hat tricks from 3 different players. Nicole Humphrey, Sophie Student, Caroline Godine all had hat tricks. There was a stretch of over 20 minutes where Boston College was scoreless through the middle part of the game. So just an incredible early season performance from a Carolina team that's lost a lot, but that's the kind of performance you have when you have a head coach like Jenny Levy, who in that win over Boston College picked up her 400th career victory. Yeah, congratulations to Coach Levy. 3rd most all-time in the sport, 2nd winningest active coach. There you see it, Coach Levy with 400 now career wins. And I'm going to guess that she'll have a few more coming her way here in the near future. Men's lacrosse, tough defeat for them. They are now 3-2. They are 1-0 in ACC play. They stepped out of conference this past weekend. Had a lead late against a good Denver team, but saw it slip away 9-8. The final score, Pioneers get the win. Tar Heels host Brown. That is coming up this Saturday at Dorrance Field. To the tennises we go. Women's tennis, #1 in the country, still undefeated, now 18-0, 4-0 in conference play. That included a couple of wins this past weekend in Chapel Hill against a ranked Notre Dame team, also beat Louisville. And Adam, Elizabeth Scotty, one of the multiple Tar Heels that are playing well. Tar Heels just have incredible depth, with Brian Calbus being able to use quite a few players here early in the season. Scotty's won in straight sets in 11 of her 13 singles matches. She's 13-0 overall, and she's not even playing in the top 3 singles. Right. So Coach Calbus, as Jones knows, has got a wagon this year. And Tar Heels will take the wagon on the road this week. They go to Georgia Tech on Friday, and then they go to Clemson on Sunday. The men, meanwhile, also ranked in the top 10 nationally. They're 10-4 overall, 3-0 in conference play. They beat those same 2 teams that we just mentioned, Notre Dame and Louisville, but they went on the road and won both of those matches this past week. They step out of conference this upcoming weekend. They'll host Wofford in Chapel Hill Sunday at 1. Adam and I will talk to Brian Cernock, one of the leaders of the men's tennis team, tomorrow. So we'll have that interview with Brian coming out on our Go Heels social and media channels. So look forward to you hearing from him. Another quality team, again, ranked in the top 10 in the nation. Let's finish up with gymnastics. They had a great weekend. They beat Air Force in their final home dual meet of the year. It was senior day. Gymnastics finishes, Air Force is not in the Eagle, but gymnastics finished undefeated in their conference. That's the Eagle, also 14-4 in total, and had a season high in points in that victory over the Falcons. They finished with 196.475. They're heading on the road for a quad meet at Missouri. Also have the Eagle Championships coming up in a few weeks as well. So busy week coming up. Not only all those sports that are getting into their conference seasons, but men's and women's basketball as well. The guys start ACC tournament play, hopefully a long run. That starts Wednesday, 7 o'clock. The men's and women's selection shows coming up on Sunday. Again, guys probably have some work to do. Women safely in, just finding out where they will be. Thank you for being here with us on the Carolina Insider.